Everybody, this is the equation word problems. Okay, question each week because he wanted to. We have to create and solve. All right, it says he got, but it's not telling us how much. We put a variable. I'll put W for weeks, and we know the total amount that he needs is what it. So it's divide by down equals plus 40. So at this rate, he must save for 40 weeks, which is choice B. Okay, number 2. 2 says, on Saturday, you bowl at Mar Vista Bowl, where renting shoes costs $2 and each game bowled is $3.75. If you spent a total of $24.50, how many games did you bowl? So the shoes is $2 one time, and means plus. Each game is $3.75, but we don't know how many games, so we put a variable. I'm going to put G for games. Spent a total, so equals $24.50. Okay, problem is set up. Now time to solve. Equal sign, draw the line. We want to get G by itself, but it has that constant of positive 2. So to get rid of positive 2, we subtract 2. Be careful. I always tell you with dollars and cents, match up the dollars with the dollars. So do not put the minus 2 here because this is 50 cents. And this is $2. So don't make that mistake. Line up the dollars underneath where the dollars is right there. Draw your line. 2 minus itself is 0. Just cancel that. Bring down the 375G that we haven't used yet. 24.50 minus $2 is $22.50. Last step. Right now we're looking at multiplying because it says 3.75G or 375 times G. So we undo multiplying with dividing. Divide by that coefficient, which is the number in front of the variable. 375 divided by itself is 1, so cancel that. Bring down G and equals, and let's see what we get. 2250 divided by 375 is 6. So that means they bowled 6 games, which is choice A. All right, let's go to number 3. So a storage truck carried a sofa that weighed 120 pounds and 6 tables that each had the same amount of weight. Now it's telling us that the truck carried a total of 604.5 pounds. So for amount of weight, but let's put x, which means equals, was 604.5 pounds. All right, so we set up our equation, time to solve. We need to get x by itself, but the other term is in front of it. It says positive 120. So the opposite of positive is a negative. So we subtract 120 on both sides. Again, please line up the whole numbers with the whole numbers. Do not put the 0 underneath where the 0.5 is. That's a decimal. Okay, 120 minus itself is 0. So we're looking at multiplication, as it says 6x, which is 6 times x. To get rid of multiplying, we have to do the inverse. So we divide that coefficient of 6, that number in front of x. 6 divided by itself is 1. Let's cancel that. Bring down x and equals. And 484.5 divided by 6 gives us 80.75 pounds, which is choice C. Okay, if you use fractions, that would be 80 and 3/4. So they're both equivalent, but on this choice it has a decimal, so let's go with 80.75. Okay, so that's number 3. Okay, question 4. Then we have one more after that. So Lisa bought 5 dresses that were each on sale for the same price, and a pair of shoes that cost $72. So she spent a total of $378 before tax. So let's just figure out the cost of each dress. She bought 5 dresses, so 5. They were each the same price. So it doesn't tell us, we need a variable. So we'll use D for dresses. And means plus. A pair of shoes was $72, so we put that. And the total, so equals, total was $378. Okay, so the problem is set up. Time to solve. Equal sign, draw the line. We want to get D, the variable, by itself, but we need to get rid of that constant, the positive 72. So the inverse, opposite of adding, is subtracting. So we subtract 72 on both sides. Bring down the 5D that we haven't used yet. 72 minus itself is 0, so cancel. Bring down our equal sign. 378 minus 72 is 306. And now we're looking at multiplication, as it says 5D, 5 times D. So get rid of multiplying with its inverse, which is dividing. We divide by the coefficient, which is the number in front of our variable D. In this case, it's 5. 5 divided by itself is 1, so cancel. Bring down D and equals. And we need a dollar sign since we're talking about money. 306 divided by 5 is 61.2. But again, since it's money, let's put 0, so 20. So each of these 5 dresses were on sale for $61.20. And the last one here, we have number 5. Let's put this here and scroll down a little bit more. Okay, number 5. George must solve the equation. Let's write down what it says. It says 6 times D minus 5 equals 150. It says if he multiplies 6 by D, so let's just put the arrow for what he did. What should be his final 3 steps to solve the problem? Hint, it says work out the problem and then explain. So let's do that. So before we write the final 3 steps, let's just figure it out. So if he does 6 times d, it's going to give us 6d. So we have to continue where he started. So equal sign, let's draw a line first. So what are the next 3 steps? So he already started distributing the 6. He multiplied. So we have to distribute again. We have to multiply this 6 this time by this term, which is, no, not 5. Notice I pointed to the operation, negative 5. So positive times negative is negative, and 6 times 5 is 30. So positive 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. Now we bring down the other side, equals 150. And now we can write what we just did. So our first thing here out of our last 3 steps, we need to multiply 6 times negative 5. Okay, let's see what the next step is. Now we want to get the letter D by itself, but next to it is the constant minus 30, or negative 30. So the opposite of subtracting is to add. So we need to move it to the other side by adding 30. Okay, we're going to bring down the 6d. We haven't touched yet. Negative 30 plus 30 is 0. Let's cancel that. Bring down our equal sign. And 150 plus 30 is 180. So now we can write down what our second step was, which was add 30 on both sides of the equation. And then we'll be ready for our final step 3. So now we're looking at multiplication. So to get rid of multiplication, we have to divide. We divide by the coefficient, so that number in front of the letter D is 6. 6 divided by itself is 1. Let's cancel that out. Bring down our variable and equals. And 180 divided by 6 is going to give us 30. So what did we just do? Our last step, we had to divide by 6 on both sides of the equation. Okay, so when you're putting your answer for this question, make sure you don't put d equals 30. Remember, it never asked you for the answer to the problem. It says, what should George's final 3 steps be in order to solve the problem? So make sure you write these 3 things. First thing he had to do, since he already started distributing with the 6, was multiply positive 6 times negative 5. Then his second step he should have done after that, add 30 on both sides of the equation. And then his final step after that would be to divide by 6 on both sides of the equation. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you reach out if you have questions. Make sure you also rewatch the video if need be. You can pause and make sure you practice. I'll see you in the next one.